This should be a video. If I should pass it.
Brought me glue, brought me the sand. We got everything.
But you can't turn the rock without Michelle.
No, it's too heavy.
It's another busy day at Polo Reef, and today the team tackles several big projects, but the focus is on the highly anticipated deepwater tank. In case you missed it, the deepwater tank was delivered and quickly assembled. It was no easy task, but after some ingenuity and teamwork, the tank was put in place. Today, the team works on one of the most time-consuming yet important pieces to building any reef tank, the aquascape.
Basically, we drew the tank on this piece of plywood. This is the overflow box in the back of the tank. That's the other overflow box in the back of the tank. This circle here is our intake for the closed loop system. And then we have another marking here and another marking in between this U shape of the rock where the outside, the outtake of the closed loop is where it's going to blow out. So basically, I'm standing in front of the tank and you're standing in the back of the tank.
Usually, if we were to build the whole structure out here, we would use some PVC pipes and mark out the height and the overflow boxes for more of a visual. But to get the stuff in the tank, because of the clearances, we only have to make small pieces at a time and bring them down, so we're not going to go through the process of laying out the whole outline. Would it have been easier if I got you a bulldozer?
I got it. Big pair of hands.
32, 16 inches.
Yeah.
16
It's
by-
less.
So because of the bracing, so it's probably 12 or 14 by 34. So what we realized is that we have to just work with the grain of the rock, being that this rock is very either striated or holy.
Roundish.
So to make that picture come to life, we really need to look at the grain, separate them, and then build the structures based on the grain, not so much the picture.
As you can see, we're not happy with what we got done so far. So back to square one.
So guys, the scape that you just saw Jonathan and Joe building actually came from that picture. And that picture I found online. I found it, and once I saw it, I realized that this was the scape or something that I wanted to create for this deep water tank. Why? Well, it had those ledges and that vertical feel of a deep water tank while also providing good hiding spots and darkness for some of these deep water amphibians, which we will show you once the tank is ready. In the meantime, they did an unbelievable job bringing this creation to life the Polo Reef way. They've been working on it for weeks and weeks, and we can't wait to show it to you once it's ready. The rock that they used to create this scape is a hybrid Marco rock, hybrid shelf, hybrid rock, and it gives you that striation of levels without it being too stacky, and a really natural look once those vertical cliffs are made.
Meanwhile, back inside, as Joe starts prepping the Great Wall for the deepwater tank, John and the team make some progress flushing the tank of fresh water to make room for salt water.
So we're going to get this tank drained out with the regular tap water and then get it filled with salt water from our tower. In between that, we're going to put rock in it.
It's a small step, but it represents a lot of progress. With the deepwater tank flushed, Joe takes a moment from the Great Wall to help receive a problematic coral shipment. One of the colonies arrived in pieces. Unfortunately, this happens in the hobby. Joe wasted no time in doing what anyone else would do, putting it back together. It turns out, Joe's a huge fan of puzzles.
This should be a video. Joe, what are you doing?
I'm putting the jigsaw puzzle together.
You do puzzles? You do puzzles, right?
Yeah.
Now this is a piece of Spaceballs Spaghetti that are very brittle and don't travel well. We got delivered and we're gluing back together.
Some assembly required.
Some assembly required.
With Joe busy on his wildlife puzzle, Dunn is in the back taking on a large task that involves one of Polo Reef's most prized tanks, the colorful 300-gallon LPS tank. Here's Dunn to explain what's happening today.
So today I'll be moving all the LPS from the 300 LPS tank into this quarantine, and then I'll be power washing the rocks. All of these corals will get dipped and treated. So I'll be doing like a mini reset on the 300 LPS tank.
The LPS and the 300-gallon, they've been going through some struggles lately. The team thinks this might be due to aquascaping issues combined with the tremendous growth they've been seeing lately. With this much growth, it's time for a reset. These changes, they're always welcome at Polo Reef. Let's just say this is a good problem to have. Today, Alex continues his research on brown jelly.
Exciting day for me, bad day for Euphilia. We do have some brown jelly in the 900. That's something that I like to sample and get as much data as possible. Again, we want to get rid of it as soon as possible, but lots of testing to be done.
I'm going to take the bit of the Euphilia that has brown jelly on it. Just take that part of the branch that's coming off and leave the rest.
Back in the lab, Joe puts the finishing touches on the coral puzzle, and it's all set to go into the 2,500-gallon tank. But like a lot of things at Polo Reef, that's easier said than done.
Got it.
Oh boy.
I got it. Well, then Michelle can fix it.
Why don't you just wait for her to so we can maybe glue in stuff to the right of the rock. But you can't turn the rock without Michelle.
Or, no, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that unlike most of our tanks at home, where we can quickly move coral around, at Polo Reef, it sometimes requires a diver. This piece is going to have to wait for Michelle to dive in and put it properly into place. Patience, it's everything in this hobby. Joe heads back outside to get to work on another larger, more difficult puzzle, the Great Wall aquascaping. Today, he's using a special formula to help mold the rocks together.
It reacts with the glue and it makes the rock basically stick together. And as you can see, this is one big piece. As I lift it, so we're gonna take this piece as a base and then we're gonna build other pieces on it without gluing to this, but they gotta sit on top of this because we can't take this all in one big piece into the tank. It won't fit and it will also be very heavy. So that's basically what we're trying to achieve.
If you ever aquascaped a tank before, then you know how important and impossible it is. It takes a ton of patience and can make or break your setup. This isn't the first tank the team has aquascaped, and it certainly won't be the last. With these two behind the build, we know this thing's gonna come out absolutely amazing. As Joe and John continue tackling the aquascape on the deep water tank, Alex the vet is back in the lab working on his brown jelly experiment. It's starting to take shape, and he's getting pretty excited about it.
One of these vials, and I don't know which one because I'm blinded, is pure sterile seawater. The other vial is a species of Pseudomonas. Another vial is a species of Vibrio that we've isolated from brown jelly. And the fourth vial is a Vibrio species that we've isolated from brown jelly that's already dead. All the Euphilia have been injected with their respective samples. Now it's a waiting game. Either nothing happens, which is a result in itself, or a result happens in the direction that we would like it to go, or, as always with science, it may not be exactly what we want, but results are results, and we'll take that moving forward.
Guys, brown jelly disease. Let me sort of explain this to you in normal, non-veterinary terms. It is a reefer nightmare. They can lose a lot of corals to it. Your corals sort of just, the tissue sort of melt and give off this disgusting brown jelly. And we are trying to learn what causes it and how to fix it. In order to do that, we've isolated the two main problems that we've identified, and we've cultured bacteria and parasitic protozoa called ciliates. And what we're doing now in this experiment is just transferring the bacteria from one sick coral to multiple corals to see if we can get it to grow by itself and to learn which came first, the ciliate or the bacteria. In other words, it's a little bit like chicken and the egg. And we need to understand that because we need to understand how to treat this. Should we treat the bacteria, or should we treat the protozoa, or do we need to treat both? And that's what we're going to be studying in the next few months at Polo Reef. And allegedly, according to these experiments, we will get a better understanding if this is a true bacterial problem, a protozoan problem, or they both need to be there in order for this brown jelly to exist.
Andrew and the Polo Reef team are super excited about this experiment and hopeful that it will reveal some new and exciting information to share with the hobby. Stay tuned for future episodes to follow along with the results. Meanwhile, further in the lab, Dunn and the rest of the Polo Reef team have almost finished moving the LPS corals out of the 300-gallon tank into the quarantine tanks.
So we're finishing up with the 300 LPS tank. I'm gonna get all the corals down, take out the last few rocks, and then catch out the fish we want to get rid of.
While Max finishes up, Dunn is out back ready to attack the new aquascaping for this tank.
Prepping a rockscape for the 300 LPS. Trying to create a more like open concept without having too many levels of corals, just like, smooth grading going upwards. And we have a lot of like trachs, hammers, meat corals, chalices. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to it.
With a clean slate, this aquascaping, it's going to be done right. No pun intended. Further out in the garage, the other dream team is working on the deep water Great Wall aquascaping. Today, they were able to make a ton of progress, and this wall is really beginning to take shape. With a ton of progress made, they decide to call it a day and let the glue settle before adding more to it. Don't forget to stay tuned as this build progresses. You definitely won't want to miss it being put into the deep water tank. While the glue dries, John and Joe, they decide to head back inside to help the rest of the team put the finishing touches on the 300-gallon LPS tank reset. Andrew is there to help guide them on his vision.
Yeah. So that it's not all the same direction.
No, the other way.
Go down wrong. Go over. To your left. But now move it to the left a little bit. The other way. That's not bad. Yeah. Good, just leave it.
This tank, it's going to look stunning once it's fully completed. Just as the day is wrapping up, Alex the vet decides to check in on a false pisonifer that was delivered a few weeks ago.
Oh, it finally came, huh?
In case you missed it, the team received this beauty, but once they scraped it, they discovered it had a single fluke.
So unfortunately, he does have fluke. This is why we scrape multiple times over several weeks, just to make sure that we catch everything. And unfortunately, we did find a single fluke on him, so he's going to be treated with Prazi, and he's not going to the 17,000 until he's ready.
Alex decided to let it stay in quarantine a little bit longer, and today, he's going to scrape it again to see if it's ready to enter its new home, the 17,000-gallon tank.
So today we're going to be scraping the pisonifer again. He had fluke. He was treated for fluke.
Not
cleared.
fluke the fish like a flounder, but a bad fluke.
So parasitic monogenes. Sometimes they hide underneath the scale, and they can reemerge them when they're not in contact with the drug. So you got to be really careful about them and we leave them in quarantine for quite a while once we know that they have fluke. He's been treated with praziquantel and fenbendazole, and hopefully he's clean today to go in the 17,000.
Polo Reef doesn't take flukes lightly, and they know the more patience they have, the healthier the reef system will be.
So pisonifer is now clean, no more fluke. Very aggressively scraped to make sure there's no parasites on him. There was no parasites on him on the previous scrape, so we're getting more confident for him to go into the 17,000.
With the good news, the team is ready to finish off their busy day with a special release. Max gets to work prepping the box for the release of the false pisonifer angel.
So we're getting the assimilation box set for the angelfish before he goes in. It's gonna sit in here for about an hour, that way the fish can get used to him being in the tank.
The assimilation box is a great way to introduce fish into a crowded system. In this hobby, not all fish get along, and placing them into the box will allow them to be introduced to the new family, protecting them and the other fish as well. At Polo Reef, they don't like to risk anything. It's the moment of truth, and a great way to end this labor-intensive day. lot of times, the hard work we do at home to keep our reef systems healthy, they go unnoticed. The blood, sweat, and tears we all put into building aquascapes, gluing pieces of coral back together, or cleaning out existing tanks, it's a labor of love. At the end of the day, Andrew and the Polo Reef team, they do it all for moments like this, and they hope you do too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay updated on everything Polo Reef. Until next time.